In 2018,
rewind time. Fortnite.
I was 15, and I made a little parody horror game. To my surprise, a lot of people played it. I loved seeing all your videos, watching other people laugh, and enjoy my little accident. I guarantee, if you've posted a playthrough, I probably have seen it. Sadly, I haven't released a single thing since I brought this blight upon the earth. I've tried countless times. In fact, here are some of the games that I've started and won't ever finish. Here's a project I spent 3 years on and off working that got progressively more bloated because of spaghetti code and horrible optimization that was the result of me learning and over polishing. Here's a freaking mobile game I spent a couple months on where you're a clown that launches out of a cannon. That's pretty cool. Here's what was supposed to be a McDonald's simulator because after working there for 3 years of my life, clearly I needed a virtual relapse. And here's a cute little Animal Crossing inspired game I started, but I won't ever finish it because I got sad when I released a video about it and you guys only gave it like 50 views. Turns out, throwing years of spaghetti at the wall teaches you how to actually boil the water next time. It's not about finishing them, it's about everything I learned along the way, knowledge I will now use to do what I should have done in the first place, to go back to where it all started and prove that I'm more than the guy that just killed all of the Simpsons. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Fleebs, this is the 7th year in a row you have shown eggs for Bart in class. And you're right, it's time for something new. It's time to remake Eggs for Bart. Quick disclaimer, if you're interested in updates and notifications for any funky Fleebs stuff like videos or game updates, I have a Discord now. Even if you're not super invested into my content, if you have a passion for game development, tech stuff, content creation, or anything really, I'm hoping it can be this neat little community. People can meet others with similar interests. Link in the description. I'd love to have you. Let's tackle the first question we need to ask. If we're going to remake a parody horror game as absurd as this one, what is a remake of Eggs for Bart going to be? If we use the word literally, I guess we can just rip a bunch of assets again and make a horrible PS2 soup of unimaginable horrors, but I don't feel like doing that again. Okay, well, if we aren't doing that, what are we going to do? Like every other YouTuber on the planet has done while talking about remakes, let's look at the remake of Final Fantasy VII. That's right, I'm comparing my shitty little horror indie game to a masterpiece like Final Fantasy. That game completely reworked entire aspects of the game, from the pacing to its quests, to the polygons that are on Tifa's. What if we took a more extreme approach? Why don't we take the base game, rework the gameplay, redo the graphics, change the story, flesh it out. Let's just change everything, honestly. Get rid of it all. Let's make the game we imagine that we're playing and wish we were playing instead. Speaking of changing things, I have a confession. One of the major decisions I've made in remaking this game is to remove it completely from the Simpsons cinematic universe. That's right, Eggs for Bart Remake isn't even going to be its final name. It's just a working title. Now, before you cancel me, this is done for a few reasons. One, obviously, is copyright. I'm sure I got away with it the first time because of how horrible of a game it was. Two, for accessibility. Believe it or not, if this does well enough, I'd love to be able to port it to consoles so more people can play. Maybe even a mobile port, but don't hold that against me, I'm not promising that. Third, I need to be able to earn revenue from the game because I need money to dedicate time and resources if I want to make more and better games for everyone in the future. Doing this out of the own dimes and me wallet is hard. I also need money to eat and to afford a roof. So yeah, while I am going to be remaking Eggs for Bart, it's going to feature original characters and an original story. But don't you worry, dear viewer, it's still going to have the soul of the original. Honestly, be more accurate to call this project a spiritual successor, but putting that in the title doesn't get views. So, The first thing I designed for the remake is the new house. Thankfully, Unity, the engine that I'm using, has this lovely little add-on called Pro Builder. It lets you block out your model first and export it to Blender, so I used that to design the layout of the rooms and the floors, and then I took to Blender for additional detail and polish. I wanted no fake doors, and I wanted every inch of this house accessible. After designing the rooms, I designed some furniture and purchased some additional interior assets from the Unity marketplace, because if you seriously expect me to model all of these props by hand individually, you will not see this game for another 7 years. I'm just one guy. Next, we need to make our player character. First, I modeled a little fat clay dude to use as a dummy for animations and IK control, because I want the head to always aim in the direction the camera's looking, as well as have the flashlight arm aim in the same direction. I also took the time to create a character controller from scratch. The original used Unity's default third-person controller script, and that was very limited and very bad. That's why the crouch button was in place of a run button. And not the reason why Homer had the pancake ass, that was just because I didn't know how to rig, but was very funny.
Where's your butt meat at? Oh my, that's how girls be on Instagram.
Also, doing it from scratch allows me to implement controller support easier. I set up 2 different camera rigs as well, one for first person and another for third person. I plan on having the main gameplay be first person this time for immersion, and cutscenes and story content that'll take place in the day can be third person. Since we aren't using Simpsons this time around, I needed to design a new protagonist that still fits the fat, middle-aged dad profile. So I made a temporary model for our Homer replacement. I gave him a goatee to mimic the Homer mouth and added some accessories to make him stand out. His final design will be more detailed, but for now this is perfect for animation. Now that we have our player, it's time to create our AI for our wandering entity. Of course, we must start everything out as a capsule. So we have this little bean friend here. I even slapped on a lovely face to indicate that this is a spooky demon.
Get out of my car now!
Later on, I modeled an actual low-poly version of the enemy, which I based on a skeletal rabbit. I named him Egoroth because that sounded like what you would name this creature. I think he looks pretty cool. He still features long toothpick appendages and even references the old idea that Marge has bunny ears under her hair, and also works within the context of forcing you to search the house for eggs. His final design will have more detail, but this is a good base for now. In the original game, Marge had a specific route she took around the house. This time, I wanted to be a little quirky, and since we have 3 levels to the house this time, being the basement, ground floor, and upstairs, I programmed the entity to patrol around the entire floor first, and then choose randomly whether to go upstairs or downstairs. From then on, he will randomly decide what floor to go to once the next is completed. The enemy still roams each floor on a set path, but changing floors randomly adds a bit of spice that makes each go around the house different from the last. Another improvement to the AI for this game is its player detection, because in the original, Marge had that invisible sphere of death where if it touches you, even through walls, then you die. No more of that bullshit. Now the AI has a line of sight, angles, raycasts, you know, real horror game stuff. The AI is smart now.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better!
I even added a vision meter that allows you to escape and depletes even after you start being chased. If it does see you hide, then mom said it's my turn with the controller and you're done. Also, I added audio cues for the AI, so if you make too many footsteps or open a drawer behind them, they will turn around and move towards the sound. Another question we must answer is how the flip are finding eggs going to work. Originally around the house, there were glowing spots to indicate a spot you can search, where you destroy the fuck out of your E key and randomly decide if you get one. That sucks, and whoever made that is lazy and they should feel bad. How do we improve that? Simple. Allow me to blow your goddamn mind. We hide physical eggs around the house. Genius, isn't it? So here's the new and improved egg collecting. Instead of 6, there's 12, because doesn't. Also, we add openable cabinets, drawers, stuff. I set up over 100 possible locations that randomly spawn eggs during the start of the game. Another new mechanic I added because mashing to search for the collectibles anymore isn't a thing, and I wanted to fill that void, is I added fake eggs. So, if your eyes are untrained and you accidentally collect it, you smash it apart into pieces before it's too late. However, I made it so it doesn't kill you if you don't break it in time. It does something worse. It reshuffles all of the remaining eggs you need to find, even into the previous cabinets you've opened and shutting them, forcing you to research the entire house. This way, mashing isn't a main focus and gameplay mechanic. It acts more like an avoidable obstacle instead. Also, I'm a masochist. My focus for the time being is to develop the gameplay and flesh it out to be the best it can possibly be, and then develop the story around it afterwards. I want to connect the gameplay better between searching at night and feature a free roaming town you explore during the day. I don't know how exactly the story is going to go, but there's something wrong in this house. Something I guarantee you will not expect hiding in the shadows. Anyway, that's about it. That's all I'm going to fit into this first video. However, the last update I have for my lovely viewers is something big. Something that'll change your life. For Patreon members only, you can play a public beta of all my progress so far right now. That's right, I've relaunched my Patreon. Only $5 a month gets you access to dev builds, sneak peeks, all that good stuff. Link in the description. Be one of the first to play test and shape this into the horror game of our dreams. Only on Patreon today. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, don't forget to join the new Discord or follow me on Twitter or X if you want the most up-to-date announcements. Also, shout out to my first Patreon member, Caleb Meyer. You are epic. Thank you, and have a good day.